Netflix have given us first looks at 9 new movies headed our way over the next 18 months. All the details right here. Following their Best Animated Feature Academy Award win for Pinocchio this year, Netflix have announced an entire slate of animated features headed to the service between now and the end of 2024. There's details on previously announced titles and newly announced ones too. Firstly is Nimona, based on the best-selling graphic novel by N.D. Stevenson. Infamously at production at Blue Sky Studios and scrapped by Disney when they shuttered the studio, Nimona recently found a new home at Netflix. It follows Ballister Boltart, a knight framed for a crime he didn't commit, and the titular shapeshifter who sets out to help him prove his innocence. It stars Chloe Grace Moretz as Nimona, Riz Ahmed as Ballister Boltart, and a newly announced supporting cast including Frances Conroy, Lorraine Toussaint, Beck Bennett, RuPaul Charles, Indaya Moore, Julio Torres, and Sarah Sherman. It's directed by Nick Bruno and Troy Quayne of Spies in Disguise, and is due in summer 2023. Next up is The Monkey King, an action-packed family comedy that follows a charismatic monkey and his magical fighting stick on an epic quest for victory over 100 demons, an eccentric dragon king, and Monkey's greatest foe of all, his own ego. Along the way, a young village girl challenges his self-centered attitude and shows him that even the smallest pebble can have a big effect on the world. It stars a stellar cast including Oh Yang, Bowen Yang, Jolie Hoang Rappaport, Joe Coy, Ron Wan, Hoon Lee, Stephanie Hsu, Andrew Pang, Andrew Kishino, Jodie Lang, James Tsai, and B.D. Wong. It's directed by The Box Trolls' Anthony Starchi and is also due summer 2023. Produced by Adam Sandler's Happy Madison is the newly announced Leo, a coming-of-age animated musical comedy about the last year of elementary school, as seen through the eyes of a class pet. Jaded 74-year-old lizard Leo has been stuck in the same Florida classroom for decades with his terrarium mate Turtle. When he learns he only has 1 year left to live, he plans to escape to experience life on the outside, but instead gets caught up in the problems of his anxious students, including an impossibly mean substitute teacher. It ends up being the strangest but most rewarding bucket list ever. The movie stars Sandler as Leo and Bill Burr as Turtle. The supporting cast includes Jason Alexander, Rob Schneider, Sadie Sandler, Sonny Sandler, Jackie Sandler, Heidi Gardner, Nick Swardson, Nicholas Turturro, Robert Smigel, Joe Coy, and Stephanie Hsu. It's directed by animation veterans Robert Marianetti and David Watchenheim, and comedy writer Robert Smigel. Leo is due fall 2023. We've also got a brand new image from the highly anticipated Chicken Run sequel, Dawn of the Nugget, from Aardman Animation. Having pulled off a death-defying escape from Tweedy's farm, Ginger has finally found her dream, a peaceful island sanctuary for the whole flock, far from the dangers of the human world. When she and Rocky hatch a little girl called Molly, Ginger's happy ending seems complete. But back on the mainland, the whole of chickenkind faces a new and terrible threat. For Ginger and her team, even if it means putting their own hard-won freedom at risk, this time they're breaking in. The movie stars Zachary Levi as Rocky, taking over from Mel Gibson, and Tandiwe Newton as Ginger, taking over from Julia Sawalha. It also stars Bella Ramsey, Imelda Staunton, Lynn Ferguson, David Bradley, Jane Horrocks, Ramesh Ranganathan, Daniel Mays, Josie Sedgwick Davies, and Nick Mohammed. It's directed by Flushed Away's Sam Fell and is likewise due in fall of 2023. Next is the newly announced In Your Dreams. A perfect family? Siblings who get along? Yeah, in your dreams. This is a comedy adventure about Stevie and her brother Elliot, who magically travel into the world of dreams with the mission of finding the Sandman, who will grant them their ultimate wish, saving their parents' marriage. The kids are total opposites, making them an unlikely duo to navigate the absurdity of their own subconscious. Along their journey, they discover that as long as they have each other, they can face anything, even their worst nightmare. No cast is attached to this one just yet, but it's directed by first-time animation directors Alex Wu and Eric Benson, the latter a Pixar veteran. It's due in 2024. Finally, we've also got confirmation on a long-rumoured SpongeBob spin-off movie from Nickelodeon, Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. When Bikini Bottom and all its denizens are suddenly scooped out of the ocean, Sandy Cheeks and SpongeBob SquarePants journey to Texas to save the town from a villainous plot. This will be the second SpongeBob movie to head directly to Netflix, following Sponge on the Run, which was delegated to the streamer following numerous delays during the pandemic. It's also set to be the first of many SpongeBob spin-off movies set for both Netflix and Paramount Plus over the coming years. The movie is set to star the entire regular SpongeBob cast, alongside Wanda Sykes, Johnny Knoxville, Craig Robinson, and Grey DeLisle. It's directed by prolific TV writer Liza Johnson, who has episodes of The Last of Us, What We Do in the Shadows, American Horror Story, Barry, and Dead to Me to her name. It's also due in 2024. Based on Richard Curtis and Rebecca Cobb's successful series of children's books is That Christmas, coming to us from Locksmith Animation. It follows a series of entwined tales about love and loneliness, family and friends, and Santa Claus making a big mistake, not to mention an enormous number of turkeys. Curtis is, of course, the screenwriter behind such classic British comedies as Four Weddings and a Funeral, Love Actually, Notting Hill, and Mr. Bean, and has rightfully provided the screenplay for That Christmas based on his own books. No cast is attached to this one either, but Curtis has written the screenplay adapting his own novels, and it's directed by DreamWorks veteran animator Simon Otto. It is also due in 2024. Next is Thelma the Unicorn. Following Thelma, a small-time pony who dreams of becoming a glamorous music star. In a pink and glitter-filled moment of fate, Thelma is transformed into a unicorn and instantly rises to global stardom. But this new life of fame comes at a cost. Described as a hilarious, quirky, and heartfelt ride, the movie comes to us from directors Ling Wang of Unikitty and Jared Hess of Napoleon Dynamite. Again, no cast here, but it's due in 2024. And finally, another big one, based on the beloved Japanese character, is an animated Ultraman feature. It follows baseball superstar Ken Sato as he returns to his home country of Japan to pick up the mantle of the Earth-defending superhero Ultraman. He soon finds more than he bargained for when he's forced to raise the offspring of his greatest foe. Ken must go on a heroic journey, balancing parenthood, his estranged father, and the relentless Kaiju Defense Force to rise beyond his ego and discover what it truly means to be Ultraman. It's directed by animator Shannon Tyndall and co-directed by DuckTales and Gravity Falls' John Aoshima. Once more, no cast announced for this one, but it's due in 2024. And at that, I want to know, what movie are you most excited for from Netflix over the next 18 months? As always, join the conversation down in the comments below.